Hi, my name is Alan. I'd like to talk a bit today about the use of LDN, low-dose naltrexone, on autoimmune diseases and on some cancers. I'd like to make it clear that I'm not a doctor, I'm a patient. I was diagnosed with MS almost 5 years ago, and I have taken LDN successfully for the last 4.5 years. I think it's important that I say up front that it's impossible for me or anybody else to definitively say that the great results that I've enjoyed over the last 4.5 years are solely the responsibility of LDN or even LDN at all. But I certainly believe that LDN has kept me healthy and attack-free over the last 4.5 years and has also contributed to my success in actually regaining some of the abilities that I had prior to becoming symptomatic almost 5 years ago. So in a nutshell, LDN, low-dose naltrexone, is not one of the standard of care drugs normally offered by neurologists for MS or any of the other variety of autoimmune diseases that it appears to be treating successfully. But it is currently undergoing clinical trials finally, thankfully, mostly as the result of patient involvement, specifically in the UK, and certainly here as well in North America. It's finally undergoing some clinical trials for not only MS, but Crohn's disease, I believe AIDS, and I think that there are several other autoimmune and or cancers that it will be tested on clinically in the future. For the time being, there's a fair bit of information available on LDN. One of the easiest ways to get to some of the links is to check out my website, www.scarydiagnosis.com. My links page have a couple of the pertinent links. You can certainly also Google it. When I first started doing the research on LDN, after hearing about it in a variety of chat rooms as I was monitoring user groups for MS when I was first diagnosed, in an effort to try to figure out what to do to help myself, I ended up writing a book as the result of not only my experience, but my wife has survived cancer twice. My book is called Scary Diagnosis, and it's a book about what to do and what not to do if you or a friend or loved one is heading for or have already received a scary diagnosis of pretty much any kind. LDN is a particularly interesting drug because it's one of those things that is not being offered as standard of care. It's an FDA-approved drug that's been around for a long period of time and is now being used off-label or sort of gray labeled for any number of fairly serious illnesses with what anecdotally, in other words, what patients are reporting, are excellent results. So the reason I decided to do this little short YouTube today is to try to catch your attention and get you interested in doing a little research on low-dose naltrexone, if it's applicable for you or a friend or family member, and to urge you to be proactive, to take an active role in your health and wellness decisions. There's no question that you need to heed what your doctor has to say, but there's also no question that there's a lot of things out there, particularly on the alternative side and also on the nutritional side, that when coupled with some of the mainstream approaches to some of the serious health challenges that a lot of us face today, that coupling them together, that integrating them together is what will give you your best possible outcome, both short-term and long-term. There are a bunch of other things that I do on a daily basis to try to ensure that I enjoy my best health and wellness. And those include high doses of D3, high doses of B12, methylcobalamin, cyanocobalamin, And I'm very careful with my diet. I have eliminated some of the basic things like white refined wheat, white sugar. You know, you've heard that story before. And I plan to do some additional short videos talking about each one of those individually. One that's of a particular interest to me is alkaline water. In closing, I'd like to say, please be an educated consumer. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to do a little bit of the research. My book goes into some of the principles and tips and issues that are associated with having that perspective on your health and wellness. It's searchable on Amazon.com and also in Google Books, so you can get an idea of some of the things that I think that are important for you to cover. There's also a table of contents on my website. And I'd like to just say that I really believe that by being proactive and educating yourself as best you can and making an effort through trial and error to decide to arrive at what is the best possible combinations of things for you, that is the way that you can enjoy your best possible outcome, both short and long term. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes to listen today, and I wish you your best possible health. Thanks. Bye-bye.